no one is above the law. The law, no one is above it. Do you remember that? I remember that. It was on television nonstop. It was like the Democrats' mating cry. Like seriously, if aliens came on Earth and they wanted to find Democrats, they would just say like, "But what above the law? Is there anyone under it?" And the Democrat would just pop up. No one is above the law. The law. No one is above it. I wonder if news channels could have shown the U.S. border, and as a symbol of the law, you could have the border wall, and then an immigrant that's literally on top of the wall. And it's like, no one is above the law. The law. Yeah, they would say this while Donald Trump was getting served. And, he was in New York, incredibly serious. He had like very, very serious accusations. Serious. The thing that I liked most is that I feel vindicated by this. 100%. Because I was with a Canadian in a live stream, and he was gaslighting me. He was gaslighting me like never tomorrow, and he was trying to tell me, it's like, no, V, look, Americans have a different culture than Eastern Europe or Russia. It's a different culture, like Russia and Eastern Europe. It's almost like they're not made of people, It's a different mindset. And I was like, no, Dev, no, listen. Okay. Institutions are made by human beings. Human beings have the same desires, regardless if it's the United States or if it's Russia, right? Like, corruption exists. No, this is America. We're talking about America. What do you know? Well, apparently I know quite a bit. Yeah. I would have done the exact same thing as Joe Biden. I'm not even kidding. Congratulations. He did exactly what any other human being would do in his position. Why? Well, he has nothing to lose. That's why. Like, there is literally zero consequences for him doing this. And this is what corruption is. I keep giving example to people with the paperclip from my hospital, right? Because like I used to be a young lad. I used to be disillusioned on how the system works. And I was actually thinking, in the world, there are bad people and there are good people. And the reason we have corruption is because there's bad people in power. Like that. See, I was thinking like a mentally deficient person. Until one day in the hospital, I noticed that there's no paper clips. And it frustrated me. Like, why are there no paper clips? Every single time I needed to clip two papers together, I was like, well, where's the paper clips? It was frustrating, right? So I eventually ended up and used my own paycheck to buy an entire box of paper clips. And literally the next day, the box was gone. And I'm like, how? Like, surely there weren't that many papers to clip. Like, someone was responsible for this, right? So I buy another box, and this time I watch it. I'm like Sherlock Holmes, like Batman watching the box of paper clips. Now, it wasn't about the paper clips themselves. It was about the principle. I was genuinely curious to see what's happening with them. The secretary steals them. She stole the paper clips. Now I confront the secretary. And I'm like, why you do this? Why do you take the paper clips? Now, she didn't know they're mine. She thought they belonged to the hospital, right? And she says, well, what else can I take home? So, in that moment, I reached the epiphany that Canadians and other human beings are simply incapable of reaching. It wasn't about the paperclip. It was about human beings. It was like, okay, she's taking the paper clips because this is the amount of power she has. She can take these, and she rationalizes that nothing bad will happen. So if nothing bad will happen, she will take it. She's the person that doesn't return the shopping cart. That's what it is. And it's also the adrenaline, the surge of pleasure knowing that she can take it and get away with it. That the entire system is incapable of stopping her from taking the paper clips, because at the end of the day, no one cares. They're just paper clips. And my realization was like this. This person is just in charge of a small office and a computer. However, if she was placed in government Do you think she would just steal paper clips? No, of course not, right? Because like in government, there's less accountability. There's fewer people, and then you can take more. So this is what corruption is. It's in human nature. Now, some countries have it more than others. Obviously, not everyone is going to steal the paper clips, but when you look at a significant chunk of people, when you look at like 1,000 people, 10,000 people, it's enough for like 10% of them to be corrupt so that you have corruption at an institutional level. And the reality is, when you look at corruption, every individual will be like, how much I care about this, and will something bad happen to me if I do? So in the case of paper clips, right, like a lot of people in the hospital are like, well, do I need this? No. Will something happen to me? No. Like, this is what it goes in their head when judging whether or not to pocket the paper clip. But when you're the president and you're asking, okay, so my son is getting into legal trouble, and if I pardon him, what are the consequences? Not a single one. Why wouldn't they pardon him? They would be mentally deficient not to, chat. They would actually be mentally deficient not to do it. Every single human being would do it. Probably you as well. Let's be honest, okay? If you were the president of the United States, no, don't lie to me. Oh, fucking, don't you dare lie to me. If you were the president of the United States and you loved your son, you actually loved him, right? It's not a hypothetical son, but like, okay, your mom. If it was your mom and you loved her and she got entangled into politics and shit, especially if it's because of you, you know, like she actually helped you do nasty stuff, right? And then she gets entangled into politics, you would fucking pardon her, chat. And you know what? If you don't, I would judge you. And if you're judging me, I'm judging you as well. Because you just don't understand humanity. This is how it works, chat. This is how it doesn't matter if it's America. It doesn't matter if it's Russia. Doesn't matter if it's Eastern Europe. Doesn't fucking matter. This is normal. Obviously, out of the entire human race, there are a couple of people that are above it. And they're the exception, chat. That is why they are the exception. And we should look at them with awe and admiration. Because when someone doesn't do it, no, it's not normal. It is the exception. Like finding people with principle is so fucking rare. They do exist, but it is so rare. And because most people would sign the pardon, that's what makes it more awesome when you find someone with principles. Which, again, very rare. And to claim that most people wouldn't diminishes the prestige of those of us that have principles. Now, why did he sign it? Again, nothing to lose. Second term. He's an old man. He's getting out of politics. I don't think like any of his family members has political ambitions, and the ones that do are probably distant enough not to suffer from the fallout. Is probably butthurt at the Democrat Party. There's literally no consequence for him pardoning Biden. Oh, but he said, yeah, so what? He can lie. He literally can lie. There's no consequences. None whatsoever. So, this is why he signed it. Now, the interesting thing about signing it, it's got like two consequences. Number one, I think, you know, like you have this law where you can't incriminate yourself. I don't know if that applies to Hunter anymore, because if he is pardoned, he cannot be convicted of a crime. So now they can literally start asking him shit. And if he lies about the shit that he is asked, then they can charge him with other things that are not under the scope of this pardon. So yeah, like now they can actually charge him. Now they can actually question him about everything, and he has to answer, legally speaking. Now again, I don't know if he's going to lie or not, but the second thing is it destroys the narrative. And the narrative is that lawfare doesn't exist. Like the concept of the government going after someone for political reasons didn't exist. Someone sent this to Short Fat Otaku, right? Look, the U.S. president is basically suggesting that his son was unfairly persecuted, and this is due to an attack on him opposing his election. So, I don't know. Maybe Dev should invite the president of America to a chat. Have him do a debate. Use some Destiny talking points. And Destiny should be there as well. On the hot mic. And explain to us. It's like, no. Actually, no one is above the law. The law. No one is above it. Yeah. The thing with the law, this is what I came to understand. For the little people, it's there. Like, for the little people, the law is fair. Yeah. For the big people, the law is often weaponized. I'm not talking about the pardon. I genuinely believe that lawfare exists. And if you're a person that's close to the top, or a person that's incredibly important, or a person that's inconveniencing, like a journalist, an activist, and you're making waves, yeah, I do believe that lawfare exists. And I do believe that there are some people that would probably go under the radar, like no one would care. But the moment they become close to the top, they're put under a microscope, like Donald Trump is. They're put under a microscope. It's like, oh, Mar-a-Lago, blah, 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 blah. That's what's happening. And if you're a person like Justin Trudeau, right? And you're telling people to stay home, stay safe, and not to break quarantine. And then you take an entire motorcade, your entire Secret Service, to celebrate Easter with your family halfway across the country. Yeah, nothing is going to happen to you. Because he's got a big dick. And everyone else has a little dick. That's why. So this is the reality. It doesn't matter. Oh, United States. Oh, Eastern. Now, sure. I'll give you this. Some countries worse than others. Some countries deal with this differently. Like Russia, for instance, doesn't need to do lawfare. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they just assassinate someone. Sure. No, I'm willing to give that. Yes, absolutely. But again, can they get away with it? In America, if they try, less likely to get away with it. And they don't even need to. Why assassinate someone when you can discredit them? When you can lock them up? Right? In Russia, different thing. Sometimes they want to send a message. They want to Prisgonian someone. It depends. But at the end of the day, my point stands. If you're at the top and you're fighting against the establishment, there's different rules. And it's not about this. It's not about the pardon. The pardon just verifies what I've been saying. That the law can be weaponized against political opponents. This is not something that's happening in 2024. This is not something unique to Eastern Europe or to America. This is something that has to do with human beings. Every single person loves their family. And every single person would get their family out of trouble if there's no political if there's no ramifications, right? In the case of Biden, the ramifications would be political fallout. He's an old man, doesn't care what people think of him. The same shit, literally the same shit happened in Romania. There was another president, Ion Iliescu, who pardoned a group of very disturbing individuals. I'm saying disturbing because they caused a lot of problems in the country. And the pardons were very controversial. Basically, when Iliescu took charge, there was a huge protest against him. Like a lot of students demanding free speech, demanding that Romania goes more towards Western values. And it is believed that Iliescu got the miners involved. Like people from mining towns and shit. They came into the capital and beat the living shit out of the students. Like horribly so. It was a massacre. And the leader of these people was pardoned by Iliescu in his third term. Why? Because no consequence. Because he can. Right? Like same thing. So what we see here is not something that surprises me. What I do think should happen is that Trump should do the same. Yeah. Now Trump has the legitimacy to pardon everybody from January 6th. Now Trump has the legitimacy to pardon literally anyone he wants. And the Democrats have to shut the fuck up. Like, all he gotta do when he's pardoning people, like, literally, while he's pardoning people, he should show this and just hang it in front of the cameras while pardoning others. They have absolutely no more moral high ground. And the concept of, like, lawfare being used against him, he should quadruple down on it. And again, like haggle the presidential pardon from Joe Biden. It's like, look, of course, like, this is how politics should be done, right? And the reason why politics should be done this way is to create an event where you're basically telling the opposition, if you are going to do it, we're going to do it as well. That is the only thing that prevents people from doing it. There's no other accountability, right? So, like, they should be like, okay, well, if we do this, they will do it against us. Do we really want it? Sometimes maybe they do. Sometimes maybe they say, okay, so what if they do it against us? Other times they will be like, maybe not. And this is called accountability, chat. Accountability is great. Let me know what you think. I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.